This is a horse that's really weak in the back end, kind of heavy on her front end. I've been working her to build her muscle in the back, lift the front end, round her shoulders. She moves odd in the back end. It's not that there's anything wrong with it. She has been cleared by a vet, which there's nothing wrong. That's obvious to me. There's nothing wrong with it. But the problem is there's no muscle back there. And she has had a few babies, at least a baby or two, and has never been conditioned back up after having the baby or two. The owner's main issue with her, main problem she's been having, is that the horse speeds up at a lope, continually gets faster and faster, and she has trouble with one lead. I believe it's the left, if I remember right. What I have been doing with her, what I'm going to show you I'm doing, is I'm doing exercises to help lift her shoulders, build muscle back here, which is going to engage her back end better. When a horse is speeding up, they speed up because their body is kind of disconnected. They feel like they're going downhill. They get a little bit frantic about their feet. What's going on with her? Her front end is doing the pulling. Her back end has a hard time keeping up because it's a lot weaker. So she has trouble maintaining a speed. So really, all she needs to fix her issues is to use her body correctly, and that's going to fix what's going on with her. And I need to get her moving off of my leg a little bit better. You'll see she's going to push into my leg. She has been right there. As soon as I put right leg on, she's pushing with her face. Right leg. When she softens, I'm going to soften. I'm not taking the leg off. Not taking the leg off. She softens, I'll soften. I'm not looking for her to, there we go. I'm not looking for her to do anything real drastic. I want her to break at the pole. I want her to lift this shoulder. When they lift this shoulder, the neck rounds and the pole bends. It breaks at the pole. I need for her, when I put leg on, there, to stay soft and move over. I hope you was able to see that. It wasn't just a little bit of move. When I put leg on, she went to the left. When a horse is heavy on their front end, there we go, and you put leg on, they pushing with that leg to get the leverage to push with their face. And when I take the leverage away with the leg, she'll get soft in her face. One other thing I want to talk about with her, when you watch her face, she'll put it down and pop it right back up. And what that is caused from is her face looks to me, I mean, I'm just going by what I'm seeing. It could be different, but this is what I'm seeing. Her face has been worked a lot with somebody's hands, and when she brought her nose down, they would immediately release, which is the correct answer when you're first teaching a horse how to give. You want them to understand that they give, you release. But the problem with her is she's giving and then immediately bringing it right back up. She's doing what I call a fake give. She's faking down just to get the release. She's really not doing everything else she needs to do with her body. So I'm going to make her hold that release longer. She pops it down and brings it right back up. I'm not going to release. See how she's kind of bopping her head? She's trying to get me to release the pressure. She's not really giving to the pressure. When she softens there and gives to the pressure, I'll release. Big difference there. And that's where you need to think about what's going on with your horse And as your horse progresses, you need to progress. There's a lot of clinics and videos and information out there that talks about when your horse gives, you immediately release. But the horse has to advance past that. See, she held it for about 4 steps. I still didn't release. Right there, she's looking for the release. I'm going to hold it. And what I want her to do, I want this to be her always position. This is the position that she goes to. So when I'm first teaching her to give to that position, teaching a horse, you will release when they get there. She understands what's being asked of her. I'm not going to release. I'm going to expect her to keep her body there. And the other part of that is, whichever hand I feel her pull on, I'm going to push with that calf. So if she pulls on my right hand, I'm going to push with my right calf. She pulls on my left hand, I'll push with my left calf. Some left calf there. Ask her to move over. I need to get these lateral movements, the roundness in the body, the engagement in the hip. I need to get that and the horse stay relaxed and round through that lateral movement. I can't get that if the horse is immediately gone into a poor position after you release the correct position. She needs to maintain that correct position all the way through the maneuver that's asked of her. And it doesn't matter what you show in, whether you show in dressage, jumping, reining, cow horse, ranch riding, ranch pleasure, it doesn't matter. The horse has to be the same. The horse has to maintain correctness through the maneuver that you're asking for. Right now, I'm just asking for a right circle, and I want her to maintain softness. See right there, head went up, I push with my right leg. I want her to maintain softness and correctness through that maneuver. And you might, the question that most people would ask, that most people would ask is, how is this helping this? Everything with the horse, one part is connected to the other part. Everything is related. And when I get the neck round, the shoulders up, the back lifted, that brings the hips in. That engages the hips. So by doing this roundness exercise and actually using my legs to lift, that engages the muscles in the back. Now, if I'm up here not lifting with my legs and I'm just working my hands to break at the pole, I'm not accomplishing that. The horse has to learn to lift off of your seat. That is why I'm not a big believer on things like side reins, because the horse will learn to give in the face, but the horse will not learn to lift off of your seat. I want that cue to be built in. You could use side reins to get the idea started, but you need the lift off of the seat. Now let's ask her for a trot. Let's see what we get. Sure, it's going to be pretty disconnected. See, as soon as I started squeezing and go faster, she's pushing her nose out. She's trying to get her nose out so she can free up her front end to travel poorly on her front end like she's used to. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to set my hands here. She'll get the release when her face goes where it should go. She'll find the release, and I'm going to keep riding forward with my seat and my legs to lift the back up. Not going to give her a release, lift the back up. Right there, she's pulling on my right hand. I'm going to push with my right leg. Now I'm there. I actually went to spur. When I went to spur, she softened. As I'm doing this, you should be able to see that she travels different when she's round than she does when she has her nose poked up. When her nose is out, the back end is out. When her back is round, when her shoulders and her neck is round, her hips will be round. I can actually feel it change in her gait sitting on her. When her nose is out and she's pushing, it's a much rougher trot. She's hitting the ground a lot harder, much rougher. There, she got round. That got to be a pretty nice trot there. As she gets stronger and learns to trot like that, she'll get more muscled, better muscled, and the trot will continue to get better and better. Notice I'm not throwing my hands forward. She's finding the release. Now I have this low port leverage bit on her. I've ridden her in this a couple of times. This helps me put her in the correct position. Every bit has a purpose. This bit helps me put her where I want her. I don't know if you could hear that or not. When she was pushing really hard, I heard her slap the ground really hard with her front feet. She's round, she gets softer with her feet. Squeeze with my left leg, she pulls on my left hand. Get soft. And when I say get soft, I'm softening my legs, but I'm still riding with my seat. And I want her to hold this longer and longer and longer. When I first started this, I couldn't get it but maybe once around without her just totally falling apart. Now, as she's developing some strength, she can hold it together longer. As she gets stronger, then she's going to travel better, build muscle, everything will be a whole lot nicer. I need it to dry up a little bit so I can work this at a canter. I worked it at a canter some, but what I needed to do was back down to the trot, build some muscle at a trot, build some correctness at a trot, and then go back to a canter. So right there, I changed directions, I changed bends. She pushed with her face. Let's wait, let's get her back together. I changed bend, she fought to change bend. Lifting my left hand, using my left leg. Wait for her to soften. There. Now see how she sped up when her nose, when she, I softened? That was her falling back on her front end. Sped up, started pushing again. I suspect that this horse has carried itself incorrectly for a long time. And even though she doesn't have a lot of muscle on her, she's trying to fall back into her old habits. Get correct. She's a little more resistant on the left side than she is the right. There. If you watch the slack in my reins, watch my reins. When she gets round, when I feel her trot get nice and she gets round, there is a little bit of slack in the reins. Not a total throwaway release, but she's getting a little bit of a reward. Pressure is not a 0 or a 100 thing. You can have 0% pressure, you can have 100% pressure. You can have anything in between. By helping her put her body in the right place, when she gets incorrect, my pressure will increase. When she gets closer to correct, our pressure will decrease. It's not going to go to 100%, it's not going to go to 0 at any point. It'll always be somewhere in between. Let's walk a little bit. Yeah.